On the fifth day after the outbreak, I heard a human voice for the first time. I was sitting alone inside an abandoned convenience store, listening to the rain hit the broken windows. My supplies were running low, and I hadn't seen another survivor in days. The city was dead. The streets were filled with abandoned cars. Storefronts were shattered. Emergency sirens had gone silent long ago. I had stopped expecting rescue. That's when I heard it. A voice, weak, distorted, coming from an old portable radio I'd found earlier that morning. At first, I thought it was just static. Then I heard the message again. If anyone can hear this, proceed to Sector 8. Repeat, Sector 8 remains secure. I froze. For a moment, I thought I was imagining things. The message repeated a few seconds later. The voice sounded exhausted, like someone who had been awake for days. But it was real. Someone was alive. Or at least that's what I wanted to believe. For the next hour, I listened carefully. The message never changed. Always the same words. Always the same voice. Yet after days of complete silence, it was enough. The next morning, I packed what little food I had left and started moving toward Sector 8. The journey took me across half the city. Every street felt more dangerous than the last. The infected were everywhere. Some wandered aimlessly between abandoned vehicles. Others stood completely still as if waiting for something. I avoided them whenever I could. A fight meant noise, and noise meant death. Near midday, I reached an abandoned hospital. The front entrance had collapsed, forcing me to enter through a side door. The smell inside was unbearable. The power had been out for days. Medical equipment lay scattered across the floor. Patient records were everywhere. Most of the rooms were empty. But not all of them. In one room, I found signs that survivors had stayed there recently. There were empty food cans, a small campfire, and handwritten notes taped to the wall. One note caught my attention. It simply said, "We are heading to Sector 8. My heart started racing. The message was real. Other survivors had heard it too. Maybe I wasn't chasing a ghost after all. I left the hospital and continued toward the district. As the day went on, strange things started happening. Several times I noticed doors hanging open. Fresh footprints appeared in places that should have been abandoned. Once, I even heard distant voices. Every time I followed the sound, it disappeared. By sunset, I finally reached the outer edge of Sector 8. Something felt wrong immediately. The radio signal was stronger than ever, yet the area was completely silent. No lights, no guards, no movement, nothing. I spent the night hiding inside a small apartment building nearby. I didn't want to enter the district in the dark. That night, I barely slept. The radio continued repeating the same message every few minutes. Sector 8 remains secure. Sector 8 remains secure. Sector 8 remains secure. The words echoed through the empty room. By morning, I convinced myself everything would be fine. There had to be survivors. There had to be. Otherwise, why would the broadcast still be running? As soon as the sun rose, I entered the district. The streets looked untouched. No signs of large battles. No destroyed checkpoints. No barricades. It almost felt normal. That was what scared me most. After several hours of searching, I finally found the source of the signal. An emergency communication center near the middle of the district. The building was old but still standing. The front doors were locked. I entered through a broken maintenance entrance around the back. Inside, darkness covered everything. Dust floated through the air. Every desk was abandoned. Every hallway was empty. The radio signal grew louder with every step. I followed it deeper into the building. Up one staircase, then another. Finally, I reached a small control room. The moment I entered, I saw it. An old radio transmitter sitting on a desk. Still powered, still broadcasting, still repeating the message. But there was nobody there. No operators, no survivors, no security personnel, no bodies. Nothing. The room looked abandoned for months. Confused, I searched the area. That's when I found a stack of reports. The most recent report was dated nearly 3 months earlier. My stomach dropped. 3 months. The outbreak had only started days ago in my part of the city. That meant the message wasn't live. It hadn't been recorded recently. The transmission was automated. A recording. A loop. The same message had been playing over and over for months. There was never a safe zone. There was never anyone waiting for me. The survivors from the hospital had followed the same signal and most likely discovered the same truth. I stared at the transmitter in silence. Then I reached forward and switched it off. For the first time, the room became completely quiet. No static, no voice, no message, just silence. Then I heard something else, a sound coming from the hallway. Footsteps, slow, heavy, deliberate. One step, then another, then another. I held my breath. The building had been empty moments ago. At least I thought it was. The footsteps continued moving closer. Whoever was outside had heard the broadcast stop, and now they knew someone was inside. The footsteps stopped directly outside the control room door. For several seconds, there was nothing. No movement, no sound. Then the door handle slowly began to turn.